Information has been circulating, and what is described therein is causing cardinals to lose sleep. 2026 is not just any year. It is the year Rome will execute its most daring plan in 500 years to regain control over the nations. And guess who is in the crosshairs? You. Your family. Your freedom to worship God on the day He commanded. As you watch this video, 5 secret tactics are already in motion. Tactics so subtle, so well disguised as the common good and global unity, that even prepared Adventists can be caught off guard. Ellen White warned us. The Bible prophesied it. And now, it's happening before our very eyes. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose each of these 5 tactics. And I guarantee you, when you understand tactic number 3, you'll realize that the net is closing faster than we ever imagined. So prepare your heart, grab your Bible, and stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover here could completely change the way you prepare for the final events. Let's get started. Look, I know you've heard about the Sunday Law. I know you've studied Rome's role in the final events. But what is happening now in 2025 is unlike anything we have seen before. Let me explain. Over the past 18 months, the Vatican has intensified secret meetings with world leaders. I'm not talking about normal diplomatic meetings, I'm talking about closed summits, no press, no public records. The topic? Global unity for global crises. And here's the detail that will give you chills. At all of these meetings, there is an agenda that always appears in disguise: mandatory rest. Sustainability through the common day of rest. Protection of the family through universal values of rest. Sounds nice, doesn't it? It even sounds progressive. And that's exactly where the danger lies. The Vatican has learned from history. They know they can no longer impose anything by brute force, as in the Middle Ages. Now, the strategy is to make the world ask for Sunday law. To make it look like it was the nation's own idea. To make it look like it's for science, for mental health, for the environment. And do you know what is shocking even conservative cardinals within the Vatican? The speed with which this is advancing. According to internal reports, even they are surprised at how receptive nations are. The plan that was supposed to take decades is coming to fruition in years. Ellen White said in The Great Controversy, when the principal churches of the United States, uniting on points of doctrine common to them, influenced the state to impose their decrees and support their institutions, Protestant North America will then have formed an image of the Roman hierarchy. My brother, my sister, this is no longer a distant prophecy. It is today's news. Now listen to me carefully. If this content makes sense to you, if you want more people to be alerted to what is happening, I need your help now. Leave that like, because it shows YouTube that this message needs to reach more Adventists. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because the next videos will reveal information that you will not find anywhere else. And comment below, I am prepared. Because I need to know that you are awake, alert, and ready for what lies ahead. Do this now, and then come with me to discover the 5 secret tactics. Tactic number 1, the engineering of the Sunday climate emergency. This one is brilliant. And diabolical. Have you noticed how environmental discourse has taken over everything in recent years? It's no coincidence. The Vatican is literally building the perfect justification for Sunday law through the climate crisis. Let me show you how this works in practice. In 2015, Pope Francis released the encyclical Laudato Si, which, on the surface, talks about caring for creation. Nice, right? But look what's hidden between the lines, the idea that humanity needs a universal day of rest for the earth to recover. Now jump forward to 2024, 2025. Documents linked to the Vatican begin circulating among environmental NGOs, the United Nations, and European governments. The content? Technical proposals suggesting that a weekly global pause day could reduce carbon emissions by up to 14%. They have charts. They have studies. They have scientific data showing that if the whole world stopped for one day a week, industry, transportation, commerce, the environmental impact would be revolutionary. And guess which day they're suggesting? Sunday. Why? Because it's already the day of rest for most Western nations. It's the day that makes the most sense culturally. See the move? They're not saying, you have to keep Sunday holy because it's sacred. They're saying, you have to keep Sunday holy because the planet is dying. And here's the masterstroke: when this law comes, and it will come, anyone who opposes it will be seen as an enemy of the environment. As a selfish person who puts their religious beliefs above the survival of the planet. You, a Seventh-day Adventist who keeps the Sabbath, will be painted as an ecological villain. And the people will applaud when they silence you. Revelation 13 verses 15 to 17 is no longer a distant future, my brother. It is social engineering in progress now. And he was given power to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image of the beast to be killed. The beast no longer needs swords. It has global narratives. And that's just the first tactic. Tactic number 2, silent infiltration of evangelical churches. This one is going to hurt. Because it's happening right under our noses. Do you think Rome sees evangelicals as enemies? Not anymore. Now, they see them as potential allies. And they have been working for years to make this alliance happen. Let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes. Since 2016, the Vatican has created what they call interreligious dialogue commissions, special groups dedicated to building bridges with evangelical, Pentecostal, and neo-Pentecostal leaders around the world. And I'm not talking about superficial dialogues. I'm talking about heavy investment, invitations to events at the Vatican, funding for social projects run by these churches, partnerships in common causes such as family, morality, and, guess what? Defense of Sunday. Here's the plan: Rome knows it can't convince the world on its own. But if it can convince evangelicals to defend Sunday as the Lord's Day, not out of obedience to Rome, but out of their own biblical conviction, the game changes completely. And it's working. Great evangelical leaders, who once preached against Catholicism, now appear in photos embracing cardinals. Megachurches that once called the Pope the Antichrist now hold joint live streams talking about Christian unity. And the message is always the same: we need to unite against secularism. We need to defend our Christian values together. Doctrinal differences are secondary in the face of the moral threat we face. It sounds reasonable, doesn't it? It even sounds spiritual. But look at what Ellen White said in The Great Controversy: when Protestantism shall extend its hands across the gulf to give one hand to Roman power and the other to spiritualism, when under the influence of this threefold alliance the United States shall be led to repudiate all the principles of its constitution, then we shall know that the time for Satan's wonderful operations has come. Brothers, Protestantism is already reaching out. And here is the most dangerous part: when the Sunday law is proposed, it will not come only from Rome. It will come from evangelical pastors defending Sunday by the Bible. It will come from charismatic leaders saying that God has revealed that Sunday should be honored. And the evangelical people, who number in the millions, will pressure governments. They will hold demonstrations. They will demand the law. And we Adventists will be left alone. Revelation 13 verses 11 to 12 is being fulfilled. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. He exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence. The beast that looks like a lamb, apostate Protestantism, is speaking like a dragon. And there's more. Much more. Look, if you're feeling a tightness in your chest right now, it's because the Holy Spirit is warning you. I need you to do something now. Share this video with someone in your family, with a friend from church, with that brother you know needs to hear this. Because time is running out, and most Christians, even Adventists, are asleep. And leave this in the comments, Lord, keep me faithful. Because I need to know that you are committed to the truth, no matter what comes. Do that now, and come with me to tactic number 3. And I'll tell you in advance, this next tactic is the one that will make everything fall into place in your mind. It's the piece of the puzzle that explains why everything is happening so fast. Here we go. Tactic number 3, silent digital control, the currency that controls worship. This is the one I said would make everything fall into place. Pay close attention. Have you ever stopped to think how they are going to enforce the Sunday law? How are they going to ensure that no one buys or sells without obeying? The answer is in your pocket. In your cell phone. In your bank account. Digital currency. While the whole world is excited about the convenience of digital money, with PIX, with government-controlled cryptocurrencies, the Vatican is smiling. Because they know that digital money is the perfect tool for control. Just look at what is happening now in 2025. The European Union has already launched the digital euro. China has had the digital yuan for years. And the United States? They are finalizing the digital dollar. More than 130 countries are developing or have already implemented their central bank digital currencies. And here's the detail that No1 is talking about, these currencies are programmable. What does that mean? It means that the government can decide where, when, and how you spend your money. It can block transactions. It can freeze your account instantly. It can make your money expire if you don't spend it within a certain time frame. Oh, but that's a conspiracy theory. It isn't. This is in official documents from the European Central Bank, the IMF, and the World Bank. They call it public policy features. I call it total control. Now connect the dots with me. When the Sunday law is enacted, how do you think they will enforce it? How will they ensure that you are not working on Sunday? How will they punish those who disobey? Simple, through your digital money. Imagine, every Saturday, your banking app detects that you've made a transaction, bought something, paid someone, received a payment. The system automatically identifies, this person is working or trading on Saturday instead of resting on Sunday. Bingo! Your account is flagged. You receive a warning. Then an automatic fine. And if you continue, your account is blocked. You can no longer buy food. You can't pay rent. You can't fill up your car. You can't survive without obeying. And here's the darkest part, no need for police knocking on your door. No need for prison. No need for physical violence. Just turn off your money. Revelation 13 verses 16 to 17 has never made more sense, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The right hand. Your actions. Your work. Your digital transactions. The forehead. Your mind. Your conscious decision to obey or disobey. Brothers, the technology for Revelation 13 already exists. And it is being implemented now. The Vatican didn't have to invent anything. They just waited for the technology to arrive. And now, they are coordinating with governments and central banks so that everything is in place when the final order is given. But look, if you're feeling the weight of this right now, remember. God was never taken by surprise. He knew. He prophesied. And he has already provided a way out for his children. Now come with me to tactic 4. Tactic number 4, the manipulation of global mental health and mandatory rest. This tactic is cruel. Because it uses people's real suffering as a weapon. Have you noticed how everyone is talking about mental health these days? Burnout, anxiety, depression, exhaustion syndrome. It's everywhere: social media, news, companies, governments. And look, I'm not saying these problems aren't real. They are. People are suffering. But what the Vatican is doing is hijacking this crisis to push the Sunday law agenda. Let me explain how it works. The World Health Organization, which has deep ties to the Vatican, has officially declared that the mental health epidemic is one of the greatest crises of the 21st century. And what solution are they proposing? Mandatory weekly rest based on scientific evidence. In 2024 and 2025, studies funded by institutions linked to the Vatican began circulating in academic circles. The theme? Showing that countries with a culture of Sunday rest have fewer cases of burnout, fewer suicides, fewer psychiatric hospitalizations. They took data from traditionally Catholic countries, where Sunday is already culturally respected, and compared it with countries where people work 7 days a week. And obviously, they found differences. But here's the manipulation: they don't say that the problem is overwork. They say that the problem is the lack of a common and universal day of rest. Do you see the subtlety? Now, mental health organizations around the world are pressuring governments. We need a law that forces people to rest 1 day a week. It's a matter of public health. And which day makes the most sense? Of course, Sunday. Because it's already the day of rest in most Western cultures. And here comes the final blow: when you, a Seventh-day Adventist, say, "I rest on Saturday, not Sunday," the response will be, "But science shows that rest needs to be collective. It needs to be on the same day. If you rest alone while the world works, the benefit is not the same. You need to align yourself with society for the sake of your own mental health and collective health. You will be pressured not for religious reasons, but for medical reasons. And any resistance? It will be seen as scientific denialism. As if you were an anti-vaxxer, a flat-earther, someone dangerous to society. Ellen White prophesied this with frightening accuracy. She said that the last crisis would not be just religious, it would involve issues of social welfare, economics, and even public health. And look at what is in the great controversy: those who honor the Bible Sabbath will be denounced as enemies of law and order, as undermining the moral restraints of society, causing anarchy and corruption. Replace moral restraints with public health and social welfare. That is exactly what is happening now. Revelation 13 does not describe only religious persecution. It describes scientific, social, and economic persecution disguised as the common good. And the fifth tactic? This one will close the circle once and for all. Tactic number 5, world religious unity, and the Pope as global moral leader. This is the final tactic. The one that ties all the others together. The one that closes the circle. And it is the most dangerous because it appeals to what is most noble in the human heart: the desire for peace, unity, and harmony. Just look at what is being built behind the scenes. Since 2019, the Vatican has intensified what they call the Global Pact for Human Fraternity, an initiative that brings together leaders from all religions: Catholics, evangelicals, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus. Everyone. The rhetoric is beautiful: we need to overcome our religious differences. We need to unite for the good of humanity. There is only one God, we just call him by different names. And Pope Francis? He positions himself not as the leader of one religion, but as the moral leader of all religions. As a kind of universal pontiff of human spirituality. Now pay attention to what is happening. There are reports that the Vatican is planning for 2027 what would be called a World Assembly of Fraternity, a huge event where leaders of all religions would gather to sign a universal commitment to peace and unity. And guess what one of the points of this commitment would be? A universal day of prayer, reflection, and rest for all of humanity to stop at the same time, on the same day, to seek God, each in their own way. Sounds spiritual, right? It even sounds biblical. But here's the trap. Once this universal day is established, anyone who refuses to participate will be seen as an enemy of world peace. As someone sectarian, fanatical, dangerous. You, an Adventist, who insists on keeping the Sabbath instead of the day of universal brotherhood. You will be accused of dividing humanity when the world needs unity. And look at the diabolical genius of it, they won't say you're a heretic. They'll say you're selfish. That you put your personal beliefs above the collective good. That you are an obstacle to world peace. And the people will hate you. Because you will be portrayed as someone who chooses your particular religion instead of uniting for humanity. Revelation 13 verse 8 says, "And all who dwell on the earth will worship him, everyone whose name has not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb." It does not say that they will consciously worship the beast. It says that they will worship the system that the beast has created. A system of unity, of brotherhood, of the common good. And Ellen White warned, Satan will work his miracles to deceive, he will establish his power as supreme. The church may seem as if it is about to fall, but it will not fall. It remains, while the sinners of Zion will be sifted out. The sifting has already begun. And here is the question you need to answer now, in the silence of your heart. When everyone is united, when your family pressures you, when you are excluded, persecuted, prevented from buying and selling, will you remain faithful to the Lord's Sabbath? Because, brothers and sisters, that day is coming much faster than we imagine. The 5 tactics are in motion. The net is closing. And only those who have already decided today that they will not compromise the truth will remain standing. For nothing. 401. Now, what will you do with this information? Now you've seen the 5 tactics. You understand the plan. You know what's happening. But the question that won't go away is, did Ellen White really see this? Did the Bible really prophesy what we are seeing now? The answer is yes. With chilling accuracy. Let me show you. Ellen White wrote over 100 years ago, when the principal churches of the United States, uniting on points of doctrine common to them, influenced the state to enforce their decrees and support their institutions, Protestant North America will then have formed an image of the Roman hierarchy, and the infliction of civil penalties on dissenters will be the inevitable result. Brothers, look at the tactics we just saw. Tactic 2, infiltration of evangelical churches, churches uniting on common points. Tactics 1, 3, and 4, using climate, digital economy, and health, influencing the state. Tactic 5, global religious unity, forming the image of the Roman hierarchy. Every word is coming true. And more, in the great controversy, she said, the power that accompanies the proclamation of the message will only exasperate those who oppose it. The clergy will make almost superhuman efforts to exclude the light, so that it will not shine upon their flock. By every means at their disposal, they will seek to suppress discussion of these vital issues. Have you noticed how any attempt to talk about Sunday law, about the Sabbath, about Rome, is immediately labeled as conspiracy theories? How you are ridiculed for talking about it. It is exactly what she prophesied. And the Bible? Daniel 7 verse 25 says about the little horn, Rome, he shall speak words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and law. Change times and law. What is the Sunday law if not an attempt to change God's time commandment? To replace the seventh day with the first. To exchange the Sabbath that God sanctified for the Sunday that man chose. And Revelation 14 verses 9 to 10, the message of the third angel, says in no uncertain terms, if anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives the mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink of the wine of the wrath of God. This is not a threat. It is a warning. It is God, in His mercy, warning, do not fall into this trap. Do not accept this system. Remain faithful to me. And here is the part that moves me the most. In the midst of all this chaos, all this global conspiracy, all these tactics, God has a people. A remnant. Revelation 14 verse 12, here is the patience of the saints, here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. That is you. If you've made it this far. If your heart is restless. If you know that this message is true. God has set you apart. He has called you. He has prepared you for this moment. Ellen White said, I saw that God has children who do not recognize or keep the Sabbath. They did not reject the light on it. And when the time of trouble began, we were filled with the Holy Spirit, went out, and proclaimed the Sabbath more fully. You are being prepared now. For the greatest movement of truth proclamation this world has ever seen. So don't be afraid. Have faith. Rome's tactics are real. The net is closing in. But the God who prophesied all of this, is the same God who promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13 verse 5. Look at me now. If you've come this far, it's not by chance. God brought you to this video because He wants you to be prepared. Because He needs you to be awake, alert, and steadfast in what lies ahead. The 5 tactics you just saw are not theory. They are reality in motion. And with each passing day, the siege closes in a little more. But you are not alone. There is an army of Adventists around the world who are awakening. Who are studying. Who are preparing. And you are part of that army. Now, I need you to do a few urgent things. First, if this video opened your eyes, if it made you understand what is happening, leave that like now. Because YouTube needs to understand that this message is important, that it needs to reach more people. Second, if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and activate the notification bell. Because the next videos will bring information that you won't find anywhere else. I'll continue to expose what's happening behind the scenes. And you need to be here. Third, comment below, write, Maranatha. The Lord is coming. Because I need to know that you are steadfast, that you understand the message, and that you are ready to remain faithful no matter what comes. And if God has placed it on your heart to help this channel grow, to reach more people, to produce increasingly profound content, you can make a super chat now. But above all, share this video. Send it to your church group. Send it to that friend who needs to wake up. Send it to your family. Because every person who watches this video is one more person who is better prepared not to fall into deception. It's one more person who will remain standing when the storm comes. And it will come. But we are not afraid. Because we serve the God who conquered death, who conquered hell, who conquered Rome 2,000 years ago, and who will conquer again. Revelation 17 verse 14 says, They will make war against the Lamb, and the Lamb will conquer them, for He is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those with Him are called and chosen and faithful. You have been called. You have been chosen. Now, be faithful. And remember, while Rome plans, while the world conspires, while tactics unfold, Jesus is coming back. And when he comes, every knee will bow. Every tongue will confess. And those who remained faithful, those who kept God's commandments and the faith of Jesus, they will be standing. So lift up your head. Stand firm. And don't give up. Because victory is already ours. See you in the next video. Maranatha. The Lord Jesus is coming.